Are employees leaving your company faster than you can hire them? Do new hires look confused or disconnected during their first week? If that's the case, there might be a problem with your new hire orientation. And today's video will go ahead and address things that your company can do better than it has been doing them before. My name is Oksana Gluchavskich. I'm an HR consultant, and welcome back to my channel. So the new hire orientation is a very critical part of the employee experience at any company that they join. And some companies may be doing things, taking care of these basic tips. They're executing these steps, but they're just may not be doing them all that well. So here are the five essentials that every new hire orientation needs for better retention at your company. So tip number one would be to have clear day one expectations. So a lot of companies will do a fine job of welcoming new hires. They'll let them know where to meet, whom they're meeting with, where to meet, what to bring, what time orientation will end, but they'll not provide a schedule. And a schedule can go a long way. A schedule that's provided ahead of time before the employee gets there. A schedule can go a long way in assuring the employee, easing their mind about what to expect and what's expected of them during the first day. So that's the first tip, having clear day one expectations. Tip number two would be having a clear first week milestones, knowing what's expected of them, what's going to happen during the first week. So now that the new hire has clarity regarding day one, they now need clarity for the rest of the week. Assuming your company isn't taking an entire week to conduct orientation, and there are companies that actually will take a whole week to conduct new hire orientation, so that in that case, that first week is already figured out. The employee will know that the entire week they will spend in new hire orientation. If your company is not one of those companies, if your company conducts orientations that take half a day, 1 day, 2 days, whatever the case may be, but under a week, fill your employee in about what success will look like by the end of first week, of the kind of what they'll learn by the end of that week. This will help them reduce anxiety and will help them feel confident and capable when they know what's happening the rest of the week, their first week on the job. Now, another point is the next point is real manager involvement. And this is a big one because too often managers will hand off orientation to HR, and then they're going to hand off their new hire to somebody else on the team who will go ahead and train them because they're busy, and aren't they always? So what's important to know is that employees don't just join a company. They also join a supervisor, a manager, and employees also don't typically just leave a company. They'll oftentimes leave a manager or a supervisor. So it's important to start building that relationship from the get-go, from day one, from week one. And so what the managers can go ahead and do is take the time out, even if it's just a few minutes, to connect with the new hire during lunch, when they're having lunch, or at the end of day one, or at the end of day two after orientation, at the very least at some point during the week, to take at least a few minutes and connect with the employee to let them know that they're glad they're here, to see if they have any questions or concerns. And but better yet, if they can carve out even more time than just a few minutes to actually sit down with the employee and talk about the company, the team goals and expectations, to talk about relevant company information, and how they're going to go ahead and support the new hires development and a training timeline for them. That will be so beneficial in terms of the new hire feeling, okay, my manager cares for me. They're glad I'm here, and this is what I'm going to need to learn. This is what I'll need to focus on and during my initial time with the company. So when the managers are present, new hires feel anchored rather than drifting. that is just so key. Unfortunately, though, this gets ignored. This kind of goes by the wayside at a lot of companies. And I understand that managers are busy, but if the goal is retention, retaining your employees, this would be one of the most critical things to improve. Real manager involvement, absolutely critical. And to because then employees, supervisors are surprised. Well, so and so is quitting. Why are they quitting? But what kind of an introduction did they get to the company? How much time was carved out for them with the supervisor or the hiring manager? The next point is that can be improved upon for a lot of companies is team introduction and involvement. Having so besides connecting with the hiring manager, it's important to be introduced to their team that first week. Some companies are able to take their new hires out for lunch. But other companies are not able to afford that either financially or time-wise. They just are so short on resources. So at the very least, introducing, as a supervisor or a manager, introducing your new hire to the rest of the team, and then having the team members welcome the new hire and letting them know what it is that the new hire can come to them for, how long they've been with the companies, maybe something interesting about themselves, what's critical for success at this particular company. So having an introduction to the team members makes employees feel supported instead of lost. And this introduction can take, depending on how much time you're able to carve out, anywhere from a few minutes to, maybe a bit longer, and maybe, you decide how much time you have and how long your meetings typically last. But it helps with employee engagement right off the bat, and for the new hire to feel more grounded. And then the next point is a clear training overview. Some companies are so stretched on resources that training really isn't prioritized. It's so basically the new hire is left to figure a lot of things out for themselves on their own. So having a clear training plan shows commitment and dedication to the new hire. And if they're going to be trained by somebody else, make sure that that trainer has great communication skills, that they have emotional intelligence, meaning that they know how to gently correct somebody, that they know how to encourage them, how to, just are able to praise the new hire about mastering a certain skill, or so that they're just not regularly receiving negative feedback. So that's important, to be able to pair them with a trainer that has good communication skills and emotional intelligence. And so just because your new hire did the same role or similar role at another company, doesn't mean they'll know exactly how it's done at your company. So that's very important, to be able to train them on this role at your company, because the processes may be a little bit different. So that lack of training can become evident whenever the shifts change. Let's say the new hire came in during shift 1 and now shift 2 takes over. That next shift will be able to see if somebody had slacked off, and they'll consider it slacking off, but it was really just a lack of training. So that'll be evident. If it'll be pretty evident to the people in the next shift if somebody wasn't doing their job according to a certain process during the first shift. So these are the 5 essentials that every new hire orientation needs, and that can be improved upon at a lot of companies. If your company if it wants help with onboarding and retention strategy, my website is listed below in the description. Feel free to reach out and connect. And then if you found this video to be helpful, feel free to give it a like. And if you want future HR tips, feel free to subscribe as well. I hope your new hires have a good orientation and onboarding experience at your company. And thank you for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.